question I get asked from clinicians a lot is, how do I bring up if I suspect that my client may have ADHD or be autistic? If I'm not sure how they might respond to that, or if they haven't ever brought that up before, but they are seeing some signs or potential traits that leads them to think that. And so my suggestion, and what has worked really well for me, has been to ask or say something along the lines of, I'm noticing that many of the experiences that you are sharing with me are similar to those clients that I work with who have ADHD, or you're reporting a lot of traits that many of my autistic clients report that they also have. Is that something you've ever considered before? And then you just kind of drop that and see how the client responds to that. Give it some space. Some examples of responses that I sometimes hear is, most of the time, there is usually a response of something like, well, such and such has mentioned this before, or my friends have all joked for years that blah, blah, blah. But no therapists have ever brought it up with me before, or something like that. Or sometimes it's, well, my mom had me tested when I was 5 and they said I didn't have it. Sometimes you will get, no, I don't think that I have that. And sometimes my follow-up then is to just say, why is it that you don't think that that could be possible? And to see then what the response is to that. Sometimes you will end up getting a bunch of stigmatized responses, showing that maybe they have this really clear idea in their head of what either ADHD or autism or the combo looks like. And so they think I am not that stereotype, which very well may be true. They may not look anything like the stereotype that they have in their head. And that's an opportunity to then present some kind of gentle education around all the different ways that those can present. I think only one time I have had a situation where the client was just like, no, I don't think that's the case. And I recall that then later, some sessions down the road, they were bringing up these things and they're like, I don't understand why I'm doing this and this and this. And then I just kind of said, well, my mind goes back to that conversation around, there's that potential for, ADHD, or again, what you're saying now sounds a whole lot like this. And so, if the client is open to that, then you talk about either some screening tools that say whether assessment is warranted or not. You could ask them some further direct questions to kind of screen, or you could move into conversations around assessments and have informed consent conversations about all the different choices, what the risks are, what the benefits are, and kind of help that client make a decision that feels right for them about where to go next. But again, I have never had a client respond terribly to it. If you do, again, I'm using language intentionally. I'm not saying I think you have. I am saying I've noticed that some of these experiences are similar. I'm just kind of laying that out there to see how they respond. And if that doesn't fit for them, that doesn't fit for them. I'm going to continue to probably share a lot of strategies and tips that work well for some of my ADHD and autistic clients, if that's the case. And maybe we just don't name it that and keep working together, and use whatever is working for that client or whatever seems helpful for them. But that's one process that can be helpful to go about kind of bringing that up with clients if you have any hesitancy towards that.